welcome back to the Parents Awareness Program PAP. My name is Paul. Today's topic is keeping a check on our children. In this episode, I will continue on the topic of incidents centered around children and school. From time to time, we hear of news reports of incidents of children taking guns to school, prompting shootings and lockdowns of the schools. The latest and most incredible incident happened just a few weeks ago, January 6th to be exact, when a 6-year-old boy took his parents' guns to school and shot his first grade teacher at the Rich Neck Elementary School in Newport, Virginia. This is most incredible because of the child's age. One responsibility of a parent is to protect his or her child, and this means protecting the child from things that will hurt them and possibly kill them. A firearm is one such thing that parents must protect their children from or secure from their children in order to keep them safe. This object is not a toy, it's a weapon, and a very dangerous one. Therefore, when parents decide to have such weapon, it must be handled responsibly. It's their responsibility to protect such weapon from small children in the home, securely locked away, protected out of their reach. With that being said, it's beyond me how a young child, a 6-year-old, could get a hold of a firearm and walk away from home with it. This incident has left me with some questions such as, where were the parents, whether adoptive or biological? Where was the firearm kept? Who prepared the child for school? Who took the child to school? How does a 6-year-old know how to use a firearm? Regardless of the answers to these questions, the parents, biological or adoptive, must be held responsible for the horrendous act done by this innocent child. I've seen too many parents just allowing their young children to do whatever. Essentially, their young children make their own decisions. They choose when to go to bed, what time to get up for school, what time to go to school, what to wear to school, what to have for breakfast or whether to have breakfast, what to pack and take to school. Then, these parents will conveniently ask their young children if they are ready and set to go, with no checking to make sure that they are really set and ready to go. These parents can't be bothered with the task of checking on their own children. They find it much easier to just stay at a distance, like in another area of the house, and tell their young children what to do and what not to do. Then long after, when they find out that what they had expected of their young children wasn't done, or that what the children had said wasn't true, they lay the blame at the children's feet. They seemingly do not realize that their young children are children and that they need to be checked to make sure that they are doing what's right. In my humble estimation, I cannot see through how a young child can be left by a parent to host his or her own show. I guess to each their own. That is a parent's decision. However, when the decision by such parents who can't be bothered end up affecting or becoming a bother to other people and the society, then it becomes other people's problem. This type of parent will say that they are teaching their children how to be independent. And yes, I agree. Children must be given autonomy and freedom to a certain extent, but remember, they are still children and they need their parents' guidance and protection. I believe that they can have a lot of independence and freedom under their parents' supervision. They cannot and should not be left alone to make every decision for themselves. They are not inclined to make responsible decisions. Their decisions are decisions to fulfill their little childlike thinking. They are dependent upon you, their parents, to make safe decisions for them. Proverbs 22 verse 15 reminds us that foolishness is bound up in the heart of a child. Therefore, children need their parents to check on them to make sure that they are not doing anything to hurt themselves and potentially hurt others. I just want to say that it's not abuse, controlling behavior, or intrusion of privacy for parents to check on their children, what they are carrying on their person to school. Parents reserve the right to know what their children are taking to school in the mornings and bringing home from school in the afternoons. It's their responsibility to check on them to make sure that they are taking to school only the relevant items that they need to learn in school. It has become far too common for children to take irrelevant tools to school, such as firearms and other forms of weapons that they can take from home and use to hurt other students. I've seen many news reports where weapons such as scissors, knives, ice picks, and other sharp objects were confiscated from students. And I've heard of incidents where students actually used these weapons to hurt other students. Hence, it's very helpful when parents keep a check on what's necessary for their children to take to school. Children cannot be given the autonomy or the freedom to take whatever weapon or other harmful and illicit items to school. Parents, I am imploring you to stay close to your children and make sure that they are taking to school only essential tools for learning. The school administrators, teachers, and other staff members cannot do it alone. They need your help. It's important that as parents we pay special attention to our children and get deeply involved in their everyday lives so that keeping them in line will be made easier. If those little children who took those guns to school had been subjected to metal detectors upon entering the school's building, I guarantee you that the parents would have been crying out loud that their young children are being exposed to metal detector radiation and that they are too young to pose a threat to the school community. Many, including myself, would have certainly agreed. Unfortunately, we now realize that it is not true. My concern and question is, how much are the parents being held accountable for their own children? It has been reported by the news that the first grade teacher who was shot by the 6-year-old student plans to file a lawsuit against the school, which is to be expected. But my question is, will any be filed against the parents also? I'm waiting to hear that. Since that little boy opened fire, the school and district leaders have come under heavy fire from various angles and heads are rolling. It has been reported that the school's district superintendent has been fired from his job because he failed to take the appropriate action to prevent the shooting. The principal has been reassigned within the district's public schools. The assistant principal has resigned following the incident, according to the news report. The blame is going around in the school system, and more people might be held accountable for this child's bizarre act. My next question is, what actions, if any, will be taken against the child's parents? I have yet to hear of any concrete action. However, I've heard the blame going around very loudly in other areas. And once again, the state will have to accept the blame and shoulder the responsibility for the parents' negligence or lack of responsibility to properly supervise their own child and keep a very dangerous weapon out of his reach. Who would have thought that a young child would have access to a gun, a loaded gun to take to school? As parents, we know what we have in our homes, and we should know our children best, what they are capable of, what they are taking to school. These kids didn't pick up those guns on school property. They brought them from home, and the blame lies where the mayhem starts, the home. The home is where those guns came from. That's it for this episode. I will be doing more topics on parenting. So please subscribe to this channel by clicking the red subscribe button below. Also, it would be nice to hear your thoughts on this topic. So please leave a comment. Your inputs are valuable. If the message spoke to you, please hit the like button. It would also be much appreciated if you share this valuable content with a friend or a family member. Thank you for listening. Until next time, parents, make the correct changes.